Hello, everybody. Welcome to Level Up Academy. Sorry, I lost my voice. So we are here today because of our brother Evan. Helping us from this conversation. All right, let's start. Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work. Or not, I'm here, guys. Do I have a sexy voice that I'm sick? Have to finish up. Happy Wednesday. Okay, stop dancing, CJ. Literally had a fever for 2 days and I still went to work and now I'm losing my voice and my throat is killing me. So I had ginger and lemongrass tea. I had green tea, all kinds of tea. And then now I'm drinking I think it's called like a mushroom coffee. Not that kind of mushroom, people. It's like a mushroom coffee for like health and vitality. Literally, I'm taking anything right now. And I also gargled warm water and salt to kind of disinfect, right? And then I added turmeric. I know it sounds so weird. Like I'm like a witch's brew. It is Halloween. Okay. So like turmeric and mushroom coffee with my coffee mate, regular. And actually doesn't taste that bad. Or maybe I have just a weird taste because I'm sick. But it's actually really good. Mm, kind of grainy coffee, but whatever works because we got to stay healthy. And tomorrow is my first TV show live with a sexy voice. If you like that, right? I've always, Stephanie Delfonso, if you're watching this, I like your voice. It's a radio voice. This is not a radio voice, but it is what it is. So let's take a look. Michelle, how are you doing, sister? Michelle is actually in South Africa. So I don't know what time it is there. I do want to highlight her mad skills. Let me see if I can. I'm going to unveil her project that she did for me. What an amazing artist. Like, if you need anybody to, if you want someone to hire to do some stuff for your business, I highly, highly suggest doing Michelle. Let me see if I can share something that Michelle did for me. Huh? Huh? That's what Michelle did. So I sent her a picture. Up. I'm a forever student, guys, trying to graduate all the time every 5 years. I don't know what's wrong with me. Some people have an addiction of gambling, shopping, smoking, drugs, alcohol. I have an addiction for education. Someone help me. But yeah, I'm back to school again. I graduated in July for my fourth degree. Now I'm back in school. And it's another master's, but this one is in business leader psychologist, MIS in IO psychology. Anyhow, that's my new logo for the TV show. So my Wednesday is always going to be in YouTube. And we are, thank you for all the YouTube subscribers. We are close to 7,000 subs from 36 subscribers on April to now at almost 7,000. My goal is to hit 10,000 by February. Hopefully, we'll hit that before then. And I am going to be on Podfest on January 24th to 28th with my dear sister Sandra Gonzalez. So hopefully, you guys can meet us there in person. And you're like, what's Podfest? It's just like a comic convention, but for Podfest convention. So all the podcasters that wants to be there will be there. Anyhow, this is my dear sister Michelle. This is her art. So if you guys ever want to do anything, she is definitely available. So let's take a look what she says. I spared you on that cough. I muted myself. Okay. Here's Raquel. What's up, sister? So Raquel and I are actually going to be on an anthology that my dear sister Nick or Nicole, you don't know her, I don't know what rock you're under because we're always doing projects together. Nick and I are actually going to do an anthology together. And if you're wondering, what is an anthology? It's basically stories from people, depending on the theme, from each individual. And we're definitely still looking for people to go with us to this anthology. Really, what it is in the last 2 weeks, some of our friends lost loved ones, and some from suicide, some from cancer, some from accidents. And you just reflect life is so precious and it can just go in an instant. So, in this winter season, holiday season, December, Christmas, however you want to celebrate Hanukkah, um, we want to give our family a note. And this book will forever live for generations to come. In my tribe, we're all about impact and legacy. Everything we do from our heart is always impact and legacy, meaning, what are we doing in our life right now with lessons learned that we can impart to future generations? Because we're already exiting. If think about life as a journey of stairs, and each time and each year you grow and celebrate your birthday or don't celebrate your birthday, and happy birthday, you're going up one stair at a time. You don't really know when that stairs stop and it's your turn, right? Sometimes we always say, oh, I'll do it next time, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have time. Some of us are lucky enough to be in deathbed where we can have closure. Some of us die and our family dies, our loved ones, that we don't ever get to say goodbye. Still have guilt for my grandma on that one. Holidays is hard for me. Um, but Nick came up with this amazing opportunity to say anything you'd like to say to your family. And remember that you can keep this really for generations. Your great, 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 great grandkids said, "Oh, wow, my grandpa wrote this in 2023." Or my grandma did this. Great, great, great grandma CJ did this, right? Whether this is your first book, second, third, 10th book, it's a different type of book. A collaboration book. An anthology is a collaboration book. So go ahead and email her. This is our anthology. I'll be sending or she'll be sending, I'll be sending, whichever. It's a group effort. We'll have a Zoom meeting to get to know everyone in our tribe who's also in this book. Okay. The cover is going to be called A Note to My Family. I Am Your Legacy. So hopefully you'll be able to join us this time around in time for that holiday season to have a stocking stuffer and said, "Hey, look what I got for you." Especially if it's a note to a family that's still living to say thank you for everything that you've done in a sliver of your life, just a sliver. Saying thank you in a written form with group of individuals who saying the same message from a different perspective. It's just heartwarming. So that is our next project. And I have a sponsor that I wanted to show you before I bring out Evan. This is my sister Janice Shokrian. It's a pillowcase. And you're probably saying, CJ, you're just selling the pillowcase. Of course I'm selling it. But you know why? Because I'm a user for this one. No, not a drug user or alcohol. This pillow, okay? When you hear the word user, you guys have a little imagination in your brain in there. But this pillowcase saves me from getting poked in the middle of the night from my husband. You're snoring again. I gained 20 pounds during COVID. I haven't lost it. I'm trying, but I love eating. For the last 3 days, I haven't eaten really. Being sick is actually has like an advantage. You lose weight. Anyhow, you guys see, you can use it this way. You can use it. I buy the other one. This is for that, but I bought the other one. So these are her reviews. Excuse me. You can use it there, 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 there. She also have one. You can use it for the airplane. You can use this little pillow. See, she's using it on the airplane. And let's take a look. This is what I got, right? And machines for my husband that he has, I forgot it's called MR something. MRD, I think that's what it calls. It's a thing that you put in your mouth to adjust and align your mouth so you don't snore. That costs $5,000. Yeah. This pillowcase, not so much, right? And you're like, whoa, that's an expensive pillowcase. I know, but it works. That's your life you're talking about. How much is your life cost? You know, when you're snoring, that means you're not getting enough oxygen to your brain and you're always tired and you don't get REM sleep. I'll pay for that, right? Here's the good news. If you buy one and you add it to your cart in time for holidays, you go up in here. You see there's a discount. Level up 23 will get you 41 bucks off. And so it'll only be 96 bucks, guys. Okay? So that is my share for today. Thank you so much for listening. Are you guys ready for our guest of honor today? Let's see if he's ready. I can see him. Hi, Evan. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for being patient. I'm like 1 minute late. Usually I hit 9:15, but you gotta excuse me. I'm sick today. Showing up for work sick. Well, tell our audience who you are, first of all, but let's go ahead and kind of think back 20 years ago where you were and look at your timeline. What are significant changes in your life that got you here we are today, especially with the topic that we have this morning?
Yeah, so I'm only 27 years old, so I'm not going to go back 20 years because nobody wants to hear about me when I was 7. But I'll go back a little bit shorter than that. So my name's Evan McBee, and uh, just short jump back. I was in the military. I was a combat medic for the 82nd Airborne Division. No combat deployments, but I did have the honor to go on some missions and actually get to do my job and help people. So I'm very grateful for that. And then I got married, had 2 children who I love, Arthur and Zadok. So they're still little guys, so keeping us up at night, but that's okay. And then really what led me to where I am today and uh, starting this business was this desire I've had ever since I was young to help people, to save people. If you asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up, I couldn't give you an actual job. All I would say is I wanted to save people. So that took the form of when I was 19, I joined the fire department, EMS, and then shortly after that, I joined the military as a combat medic, and then after that, I was a paramedic. And I decided to shift out of medicine altogether and pursue a passion of mine, which was cigars. I've been smoking them since I was 18, smoked them way too much in the military, and then kind of cut back a little bit. But I saw the cigar community as something special. I made a lot of friends over smoking cigars, and I wanted to use it for something important. So I studied up on social businesses and I was made aware of child trafficking and how prevalent that is, how 1.2 million kids get trafficked a year. And as young as 3 years old, all the way up to 17 years old. And it really disgusted me to my core. And I knew I wanted to do something about it. So I decided to, having no tobacco experience, start a cigar company and learn every single step of the way and dedicate 20% of all sales to ending child trafficking and actively saving kids.
We had this conversation privately with my sisters, right? Like social selling is great because we always have a purpose of what we're trying to do. And giving back to our community is our number one priority because what's the point of doing anything if you're not going to give back and solve a problem? If you're having a business and you're not solving a problem, that's a hobby. That's not a business, right? But cigars, lung problem. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and why you started? Like you said, you love cigars, but what are some of the myths that we want to talk about? Smoking in general,
Mhm.
cigarettes and cigars.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie to anyone and say that smoking anything is healthy for you because it's, I mean, you obviously you'd be healthier not smoking cigars or anything. But as far as tobacco products go, cigars are the, I guess, most healthy, I guess, if you want to put it that way. So you don't inhale it into your lungs for one. So you're not actively destroying any type of lung tissue. You're not smoking in any harmful chemicals because cigars are just straight tobacco. Unlike cigarettes, which have tar and other chemicals in them, you're just going to be having tobacco and it doesn't go in your lungs. As far as mouth cancer goes, because that's a lot of people's main fears, you don't have any active like nicotine that just sits inside your jaw. So it's not going to be like dip or any other type of chewing tobacco. And studies have shown, I'm sure there's studies on both sides on how like it's harmful and then how it's not harmful. But one of the more recent studies I saw said that smoking cigars, if you were to smoke 5 a day every day, it would raise your chances of mouth cancer if you already have a chance of mouth cancer by 0.5%. So it's not extreme. And if you're smoking more than 5 cigars a day every day, then more power to you. That is very impressive. It's hard to do.
I've never smoked anything, so I don't know. I tried cigarette when I was in college and I started coughing. I was like, yeah, no. I was trying to look cool in front of my friends. No, I didn't look cool at all. In fact, I look like a knob. Like, okay, CJ, you're trying too hard. I'm like, yeah, nope, that's just not my thing.
So,
But I know my brother Zen Samich. He always got my back on fantasy football. I have no clue about fantasy football, and he texts me, "Sister, you're losing this week." I'm like, "Bro, I'm at this point, I give up. Like, I can't keep up with this players and linebackers and kickers and quarterback. I know what a quarterback is, but that's about it, And then they're like, "What
it's
about
beginning of
running
the
back?"
battle
I'm like,
right there.
"Oh, yeah." But he likes cigars and he's in Japan, so I definitely will hook you guys up for sure.
Yeah, please do.
And our sister Raki, thank you for being here. She's like, Happy Halloween. Because one of us went to Halloween and looked cute. One of us had a tissue. Imagine me going to Halloween coughing and have tissue. I don't think kids would get me anything. Mom would be like, get out of here. I don't want no cooties.
You could have
No.
been a sick ward patient as your costume. You would have been good.
Right? And you're like, no, this is really an act. Yeah. I'm a good actress for coughing. Not really. Sister Susanna, thank you for being on YouTube because LinkedIn is a little wiggly sometimes. And Ali, thank you for being here. He says creating projects for human trafficking means developing initiatives, campaign strategies aim at raising awareness and providing support and ultimately eradicating this heinous crime. I wish that's everyone's wish to eradicate it, but there's always people who's willing to do the nth degree, right? To make money. So I know I haven't talked to Susanna forever because I'm trying to like keep my voice in. Yes, what's up, sister? You look cute by the way in your outfit. And I was like, oh man, I wish. Wait, love the makeup. Yeah, this is my sick makeup. My producer in the network, actually, the marketing guy goes, you need to do a commercial. I'm like, I'm sick. And he's like, no, I really need it. I'm like, oh, fine. So I put my makeup on and he's like, you do good work when you're sick. I'm like, wow. Do you want me to be sick all the time now? Is that what it is? Oh, my makeup is 10 minutes, sis. I wish I could do more, but it is what it is. Nick is here. No, Nick is working. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Now, my next question to you is what are the most common misconceptions about human trafficking and how can we dispel them to create greater awareness? Think about the company. Talk to me about the organization that you're working with who's already currently doing this work for human traffickers anyway.
Mm-hmm. So I would say probably like the main misconception. I think when people hear human trafficking, they probably think of like the movie Taken, which and it does happen. People do get snatched up, but it tends like they think the romanticized Hollywood version. I think of some hero coming in, busting down doors, saving a loved one out of it, and it's really that easy. Um, and I think that either that or people maybe think of like pornography, right, sex work, and they think that that is the extent of human trafficking, and it's really a lot more disturbing than that. The organization I work with really kind of helped open my eyes. So I work with Destiny Rescue, which is a charity. They actively run raids all over the world to save children. They save everyone, but their main goal is children, to save children out of sex trafficking. They also offer rehabilitation and protected space where they can go out and live the rest of their life as a functioning member of society and protected to where they won't get taken again. And I mean, so Asia is really 59% of kids who go into trafficking come out of Asia. And it's not just sex trafficking. While that's mainly females get put into these sex trafficking rings, they also steal little boys and they go into forced labor slavery. And they basically get thrown into some mine somewhere and work until they die. So you also have little kids who are forced to do that, and the numbers are only growing as far as more and more little boys are getting taken now as the slavery is becoming more profitable for these people. And so it's not just sex work, but yeah, you have a lot of these kids who, I mean, just get taken into these nightmares. And So yeah, this is Destiny Rescue. They do a lot of great stuff. So they do espionage, where they actually try to hunt out these places. They do raids. They do all kinds of incredible things. And last time we talked to them, they had helped save over 12,000 children, and that number is only growing. And they've helped arrest over 600 perpetrators of these crimes. So we want to help them, and we want to personally have funded over 100,000 children being saved.
That's important. And I wanted to share because like over 1 million children are exploited by commercial sexual exploitation. That's just disgusting,
It
especially if
is,
you have
especially.
children. It's
Yeah, I mean
disgusting.
these kids can be sold up to like 6 times a day. And I mean, parents will sell their kids into this. In Nepal, especially, uh, female virgins, or like especially young female virgins, are thought to have like some mystical powers in some part of the world. So families will sell daughters into this, and for large sums of money, because there'll be some high religious elites that believe that this child can cure some disease or grant them wealth or something if they take their virginity. So there's some really, it goes a lot deeper than I think people initially believe.
It's very sick. I mean, think about it, people. There are what, 4.2 billion Asians, right? And 59% of children trafficked are from Asia. Well, yeah, because more than half of the population of the world is Asians. But look at the money, though. Follow the money. $99 billion is generated by sex traffickers each year, an average of
This
11 million every hour.
Yeah,
Think
it's
about it.
the fastest growing black market enterprise is child trafficking. So it is, it's pretty disturbing.
The people who are trafficking these children are disgusting, but in business, okay, we're going to go in business, supply and demand. So the people who are demanding it and are willing to pay for it, I'm sure you're watching and listening to this too. You're disgusting.
Yeah, unfortunately, the
Because if there were
U.S.
no demand, there wouldn't be anything happening. But there is a demand in the black market. It's just
There is.
nuts.
Yeah, the U.S. is the biggest buyers of child exploitative material. So the U.S. is definitely plays a large role, and I feel like a lot of people have tried to figure out why. And I think it links back to our overuse of pornographic material. The more and more you look at stuff like that, the more and more you need something more shock and awe. And eventually it leads, not everyone, but most, or not most, but it leads people to that, to where now the US is the largest buyers.
We're consuming everything. We're the biggest consumer of everything. 3 countries in Latin America, 3 in Asia, and 6 in countries in other Asia. Oh, 3 in Africa
Yeah.
and 6 in Asia.
It would work
I
in the
mean,
US, but the way our government has structured this kind of work, there are organizations that work in the US, but it's really hard to kind of get the government to sign off on that, because you have to be able to have at least $1 million straight up to be able to start an organization in the US that can actually help save these kids, because of our laws around like uh, workers that work with children. You have to have like so many workers per so many children, as well as certain standards to be met. So it's not really set up to easily start an organization that helps kids in the US. So that's why they don't currently work in the US.
I think that's just, it's like we're working against the tide. It's like swallowing us. Yes, we want to swim. No, the waters just keep coming. And I'm glad there are people like you who cares about the society, and you're one big part of an organization who's already doing it. What do you need from people? Like, what does it mean to create projects for human trafficking?
So I think the main need, I've been giving this a lot of thought, because I'm still currently in the phase of crowdfunding for our initial manufacturing for my cigars. And as I had more and more meetings with people, I kind of noticed a similar trend. people would initially be like, that's incredible, the work you're doing, that's so great. And then they immediately push me to the side and move on to something else, right? They really didn't want to invest anything further than just acknowledging the horrible fact that this exists and congratulating me on my efforts. But I feel like that's because this is such a heavy subject and this is so horrible to think about that people don't want to think about it, that it hurts too much to think about it and not have any idea of how to help. So we just pushed it aside. Like we checked the box. Okay, great. That's horrible. I'm so sorry that's happening. Okay, let's move on. I can't think about this hard thing anymore. So I think really what we need is people who are willing to just kind of sit there in the discomfort and be willing to bear the weight of that for however long it takes to move to do something and to have avenues where you can actively help. So, like I said, there are organizations that are Destiny Rescue, 81 cents of every dollar donated goes actively to saving kids. So, if you want your dollar to be spent well, it's there. Businesses like mine that are, if you donate $100 to us to help us get us off the ground, we can save hundreds of thousands of kids because our business will always be funneling money into that. So I think more awareness of ways for people to help, and then also a willingness to just kind of bear the weight of how hard this is, and know that it is in the world, and that unfortunately, if you turn away from how hard it is, then it only allows the evil guys to continue doing what they're doing.
What can we do to help you help others by collaborating? What do you need from people, right? So let's say they don't want to buy cigars, but they do want to donate to your cause. Where can they find that so that you guys can get lifted? Like what is the face of your business right now that we can help?
Yeah, so business called War Bond Cigars, and with the whole idea of by joining us, you're fighting evil in the world. So you kind of like, buy a cigar, buy a war bond. But it's if people want to help, a great way is to raise awareness, to be advocates for these kids and who are living a nightmare every day and don't have a voice, be their voice. And then we do have a GoFundMe started that I believe you have the link for and that I can post later. But if you would actively like to support, know that the GoFundMe are not actively getting cigars. We do have a website that is currently in progress and almost done. And like I said, we're raising funds for our initial manufacturing costs for our first line of cigars. So if you do want to buy a cigar on the back end, they are available to you. Anyone also who does donate to us, we want to thank you for everything that you do. So we do post you permanently on our website as a contributor to fighting sex trafficking, child sex trafficking. So if you want to post your organization, feel free to do that as well. And so that's just a way that we can give back to you. But if you really want to support us specifically, the GoFundMe is the way. If you don't feel led to do that necessarily, then I would just please ask you to be an advocate for these children. Know that it's uncomfortable and know that people will be uncomfortable about you saying this, but just know that's because it's hard. And just because it's hard doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. Choose the hard right over the easy wrong and really be an advocate for these people. There is hope in the world to save these kids as long as you're willing to pick up the fight. So,
The rule is to never give up. That's the rule of the game of life. Um, yes, you can go down. Yes, you can take a break. You can take a long break. Never give up, right? Imagine if you were one of these kids trafficked. You can't get out, but one day, I was actually looking, I don't know, it was an expose a while back that some of these kids have been doing it since they were little. Now that they're young adults or even into their 20s, when they get rescued, they don't even know what to do with that. That's the life that they lived. They don't even want to get out.
mm-hmm.
That's crazy for
Yeah,
us. But for them, that was the life. We want to get these kids out, boys and girls, before it becomes them, right?
yeah. I mean, humans
And
are adaptive. We'll adapt to our surroundings, and unfortunately, or even, I mean, fortunately and unfortunately, that they didn't break psychologically, but unfortunately they were pushed to the point where they had to adapt to such a level that they just accept their existence in this horrible life that they're living.
That's just nuts. Now, now you guys have a GoFundMe. This is specifically for to save the children with Destiny Rescue. Um, you're raising about $11,000. Where does this money go?
So this money goes directly to the manufacturer. So we're working with a U.S. based manufacturer. They've been around since 1990. They definitely kind of threw us a line. I emailed every manufacturer in the U.S. that I could that would give me the time of day, and this one actually reached out to us. They heard our cause and they heard what we were trying to do, and they did something that's completely unheard of. And they're like, "Hey, we want to partner with you and help you make your cigars and actually help you guys make a difference in the world." So we're just helping raise money. I mean, I'm fresh out of the military. My business partner is also fresh out of the military. So we're not really rolling in cash. So we had to start to try and drum up support from our communities and try to raise money so we can get our first line of cigars out the door and we can start sending money to Destiny Rescue. So 20% of every sale goes directly to them from the moment we launch till forever, as long as the company is around. So
Hmm, I don't smoke, but I'd be like, can you make like a CJ pink cigar, like the cover? And I want it in like this
yeah.
box. I actually bought a vintage cigar box. I love boxes to put
Mm-hmm.
some stuff in it. But I imagine like this cigar box, and it's like Swarovski crystal all pink on the top, and it has like your war bond cigar, and the war bond cigar in like purple, like deep purple, but then it had like light pink Swarovski crystals on each of those letters. And
Mm-hmm.
then when you open it, it's lined with like what is that? Alcantara from like Porsche. I used to have a Porsche, Alcantara, and
Yeah.
it's just sweet Alcantara, like black velvet looking with all the cigars. And then the cigars, the cigars have like what do you call that? Like a little paper.
Scar band.
Yeah, but it's in like baby pink, and it
Mm-hmm.
says Warbont cigar, CJ Leland on the bottom. I was like, oh, I want those. Like, I just imagine. And I'm like, I'm not
Yeah.
smoking. I just want the limited edition. Okay. Like, I
Yeah.
will
Just keep it
do
on
it.
the shelf.
I know. And I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to do something. So I'm like, Evan, I just want the box and then the cigar. I'm not smoking it, but I do want that. Like, I just
Yeah.
imagine things, I'm like, oh, gee, CJ. But
You give it out to guests on your TV show coming out.
right? Seriously. I know I have so many ideas right now. It's not funny. And somebody has to put me, I'm on cloud nine, so someone has to put me back on ground like CJ. That's not possible. I'm like, I don't know. In my head, it's possible.
Yeah.
Anything can go. Well, somebody help me. Now, discuss the intersection of human trafficking with other global issues like forced labor, child exploitation, and migrant smuggling. We get this. We talked about because poor countries need money, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we just think money is evil. People are evil. Money is a tool, just like a gun, a knife, a car. Those are tools that people use to destroy other people. Still don't understand why we have two wars now. Because at the end of the day, thousands of years ago, we've already had wars forever, and you'd think it'd stop. But like, why are we even having wars? Like, I'm richer than you. Great. Now, can you feed me? I'm hungry. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, at the end of the day, really, we just want to be loved and accepted.
Yeah.
It seems so
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. I really think you hit on it perfectly. It really is a people issue. It's really what it boils down to. Sorry if you guys heard that noise. It is a people issue. Is really what it boils down to. I think when it comes to wars, for countless reasons. I mean, people have obviously been, yeah. There's 100 different reasons for all the wars we've ever had, and I think it really boils down to solving a people issue. So, like, what is
Yeah.
going on in your heart that makes you need this?
I think Our part of our global issues right now is hunger for sure. And when you're in desperate situation, I can't speak for people because I'm not there. Like, I'm just trying to imagine, and I still can't imagine selling my own children so I can eat, right? For sex slavery. I, there's really no word for it, but it's happening. Just because you're not understanding it, just because you're not in it, just because you don't know somebody personally who's not in it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist in the world. It does. And people like Evan is saying, hey, I get this idea. I see this issue. I'm smart enough to know I don't know all of the issue, but I am willing to help because I've seen the people what they're doing. And there's already an organization that he's partnering up with. So what I'm asking you and what Evan's asking you is to help his business so he can help others. That's really the bottom line, right? Creating projects for human trafficking. This is a project that could save lives. I shouldn't say could, it will save lives, right? Now, how can media, entertainment, Willie J is in here. I'm gonna have to talk to the bro. He's also on the anthology. He has like 174,000 followers on Instagram. He's on all kinds of magazines. Bro, did you hide? I saw you though. I just want to call you out on that. We need him and people like him. Myself, Sister Rocky has a good following. She has like 50,000 followers on LinkedIn. So we'll push that through, right? Because we need people to know, because it doesn't matter how good our projects are. If no one knows about it, we're a hidden gem. We don't want to be a hidden gem. We want to be in front of your face so you can help us, right? Because raising awareness is one thing, but driving against human trafficking needs money. We need your money, I know. I feel like
Yeah,
that 1-800 whatever, pay me, like
yeah.
this is my Square and my Venmo. Um, what are some of the most urgent priorities right now in the fight against human trafficking? What do you think? And what do you think government should do?
So I'd say the most urgent is awareness as well as being willing to take action and knowing what that action looks like. Being willing to partner with law enforcement agencies within the countries that this is most prevalent. I know Destiny Rescue has worked with India and Nepal to be able to set up road stops across this huge highway that is where a lot of this trafficking goes. And they worked with the government agencies and fought hard to be able to set up as many as they could, like way stations, like all these like road stops, where they could try to investigate and see if these kids are being trafficked. So that's one great way. It's just being willing to work with government agencies to try and hunt this out. In the U.S. specifically, they know that with all the border stuff and the confusion down there, I don't want to get too political, but as far as the border situation is concerned, a lot of kids go missing straight from there. If you want to take it less political, in our foster care system, I think it's like 1,500 kids a year just go missing, unaccounted for, out of our foster care system. So being willing to just kind of root out a lot of these lesser known areas. I was just reading before this podcast that online scams are actually on a rise as far as being able to take kids into trafficking. So if you're a parent, even if you're not a parent, to be willing to talk to local schools and stuff like that, but especially if you're a parent, just make sure that you are conscientious of what your kids are doing online and just being willing to protect them even there, because they're not safe there. I mean, people are trying to get your children even online. Not to be super doomsday about it, but just something to keep in mind if you're a parent.
I love that. Not super doomsday. I actually had a girlfriend. Her daughter was going through, during COVID, going through a lot. And for some reason, online's easier to communicate because you don't know people and you just vent like, "Oh my god, my parents are so painful." And this guy just swooped the princess. Supposedly they're like dating or whatever, and he's asking her to like send him questionable pictures. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm in you. I have a lot of money. I'm only 5 years older." Mind you, she's 16. Okay. She can't be married to nobody. We're in California. And then he's like, "Yeah." And so the parents met with the guy. He seems okay. The dad is in the military. So he's like, "Something about this guy's just weird. Like, I'm getting that vibe." He's a medical doctor for the military. So it's not like he's not aware. And then I think he said something about like, "Oh yeah, you and your cousin should go to Tijuana with me this weekend. And you don't need to bring that many clothes. We're gonna be there for a week, but I'll buy you clothes here." And then she's like, "But don't tell your parents. Just tell them you're going to your girlfriend." Because it was spring break. And she's like, "No, I have to tell my mom because she'll get mad. Like I will get grounded." "Well, you don't have to worry about being grounded. She'll be okay after you're done." This went on for 2 days, and her mom felt like she was doing something bad, so she went to her computer and found this message. Your daughter was contemplating of doing it without telling her. Oh, not only was she grounded, her computer was taken. She wasn't allowed to talk to the guy. She wasn't, and the dad literally investigated him, and they couldn't find anything about this kid. Went to the address that he have on his driver's license. He doesn't even live there. Kid almost got taken through Tijuana. Be careful, people, right?
Yeah, it's a
Talk to your
slow
kids.
too. Yeah, it's a slow fade, right? Like they play a lot of these guys play the long game, and they're really good at manipulating younger people, right? And they try to find the outcasts, the girls who maybe don't feel like they're that pretty, or the boys who feel like they don't have anywhere to belong, and they come after those people and they try to fill some void that these kids have, but they twist it, and they start to manipulate and create this codependent dynamic where you would rather do what I tell you to do instead of what your parents who love you were trying to tell you to do. And I'll give you everything you ever want as long as you give me this. Comes this transactional relationship, and then you have these kids who walk into this with thinking that they're going to get some need met that ends up they end up walking into a nightmare. So I think that it's really good for, like you were saying, the parents to just be willing to have these harder conversations with their children, and being willing to take probably unpopular steps to be able to save their children in the long run. So
Yeah. And just having that talk, it's so sad. I sent my kids for 5 years with a bulletproof backpack. They suffered. Okay, my oldest suffered because she's like, "Mom, this backpack is so ugly and heavy." Because they tested like a 45 wouldn't go through it, plus the books, and but it is heavy. It's metal. Backpack was so expensive too. But it's like either that or this. And I said, "Here's the thing: if there is a shooter," so we would actually um once a month, no, once every other week, we would practice how many seconds it takes you to take the backpack and do stuff, right? Because it's just a tool. But in the moment of that, are you going to freeze? If you do, what do you need to do? Right? So we do the what if situation in my house all the time, like we're in war. And they're like, "What is happening?" And their
say
friends
you're
are like,
doing military training.
"Oh, yeah." And none of my family are in military, but we're into espionage a lot. So I was like, "Okay,
Yeah.
let's go." It's an NCIS
Yeah.
thing. Okay, we gotta do this. And
Mhm.
so we practice. That backpack is heavy, plus our books are like, "Mom, I'm getting scoliosis from this backpack." I'm like, "Either that or you die,"
I say
because you
giving them a
never know.
workout, making their back stronger.
Yeah, but it's and then I always tell them you need to be hyper vigilant and don't be like dumb dumb, walking because I see my daughter sometimes like on her headphones on a
Hmm.
cell phone. I'm like, there goes the car, just hit you and you die, or there goes some weird van picking you up and you didn't even know what's happening. Like you need to be aware when you're walking, people following you, people doing three looks at the same time, like when you're on an aisle. someone's watching you 3 times, something wrong with you, dude. Like, do you need help? Like just be aware of those situations. What do you do in this situation? And so my kids are probably like having anxiety of like, my mom's crazy and my dad's crazier. Like, here's Willie J. If you guys are not hooked up, we need a bro to like spread awareness. Gene Petrino, both of those were my global speakers, by the way, is a 26-year SWAT commander. This is what he said. I've worked several of these cases. It is way more prevalent than people realize. You need to get hooked up with Gene as well because he could have people that could help you even further along. So just message Gene and said, hey, CJ said I could reach out. Same thing for Willie J. You need to hook up with his people. Willie J, we need his people to spread awareness. Gene, same thing, but he's in the military, so you guys will have a great conversation about it. And of course, morning, everybody. I know I suck today with messages and your participation. FYI, my TV show, I can't show your messages. It's a new platform, people. Until you see it firsthand, it isn't real. Yeah. Michelle is open to help in any way she can. Perfect. I've seen the worries of people overseas about kidnapping. Cute child. Mm. Well, if they stop killing their baby girls, then it would be a good ratio.
Yeah, I know that
I'm
a lot of the people smuggled, a lot of the young girls smuggled out of North Korea into China and other areas. They get smuggled out and they basically just get thrown right into forced marriages or sex slavery. So,
Sasana. Yes, the pink virgin. Say, Evan, there's already a customer.
I don't know if the majority of the cigar community would be up for that, but who knows? Maybe we can do a special run.
All right. Look, you and me both. She doesn't smoke, but we would love to have that cigar. Listen, if you give me your Warband cigars box, I'll siegify it. You'll see what I'm talking about. You don't understand. I teach cutting machines and lasers on my time with vinyl and yeah, maybe even 3D making. Hello, Yassine. This is my brother from Pakistan. We are a global community, so whoever you are, please help us, right? This is what we want. Um, my next and last question for the day. I can't believe we're already ending. This is a great conversation. You have children. Your children will have children. This is your last day today on this earth. I know you're young. What would be your parting message to your current and future families in terms of living life legacy and impact with your business?
I would say my final words or message would be mission first would be what I would say that keep first things first. We're not on this earth forever. And we are, every single person that is alive today is alive for a reason. So, I mean, you are here for a purpose. So make sure you keep first things first. Remember that time is not infinite and there are really important things for you to do and that you can do. So keep those at the front and realize that we live life for mission. So yeah, always mission first. I guess that's what I would leave it with.
Awesome. I hear your children. I'm like, yes, I hear kids.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. They're
No,
awake and
don't
getting
be
their
sorry.
breakfast. So
Listen, in podcasts and live streams, we got to do what we got to do. It is what it is, right? Sometimes you'll hear my dog snoring. I can't stop them from snoring. Nope, I don't have a choice. We just go with the flow. Mike, my brother Mike right here, we need to get him hooked up with you. He has, I don't know how many Mike has, 26 or 27, but he is the CEO and founder of Hounds of Business. And I am part of Hounds on Business as part of the leadership. So we need to get you hooked up with Mike and just say, "Hey, Mike, CJ sent me." That should get you in. Okay, CJ, the two-letter word means something.
I say
And
it
Mike,
carries a lot of weight.
all right, it's like CJ sent me. How can you help me, bro? Okay, we help each other in our tribe because most of the people that I surround myself are people who are, heart-centered. I'm sure there's still people who are crazy about money, 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 and not people. And I can't stop those people, but I always try to vet them to make sure that we are all about helping others in our community. Our life should be about service to others, right? Um, love you, brother. And of course, I love Yassine. He always follows me on all my lives. Thank you, bro. I try. Oh, I can always try. Evan, can you take us out on your last parting message for your business, what you're all about, and what you're about to do for the world?
Yeah, so my business, War Bond Cigars, we are dedicated to taking the fight to the enemy all over the world. And that's what our cigars are all about. 1 in 5 cigars gets donated directly to fighting evil all over the world. So if you would like to join that fight and actively take a stance against all of the crimes in our world, then join the fight. Join War Bond Cigars.
Okay. And then are you going to put the well, I guess I could. At the end of our show, guys, we're gonna or Evan's gonna put it on the messages. Feel free for the GoFundMe to make sure. Gene, bulldog rules. Yeah, you can babysit one of mine. He's from a penal colony. He eats everything. He bulldozes everything. He eats luxury items. He don't care. He even eats my book, my tote bag. I don't know what's wrong with this bulldog. My other one, perfect. Snore, sleep, cuddly. The other one, oh gosh, when he jumps me, I'm done. But I know you're a lover. So Gene is still here. Yassine, bro, help us. Help us help Evan and his never apologize for your children. Life is see, Evan, look at Raquel said. Never apologize for your children. Life is as organic as it comes. That's right. She has 2 kids too. And her kids does the same thing, including her cat. She'd be on
Amen
live
to
and she'd
that.
be like, what's happening here? Well, thank you so much for being here today, Evan. And we appreciate your time. And if you need anything for all the people I showed you, you need your homework for today is to connect with this lady, Raquel. Don't forget Mike Asherbrenner, Hounds of Business, right? We're having a little hounds coaching. I'll be in there on how to do live stream and all that. Mike, help me out. I think it's November 8th at 10 a.m. PST. So feel free to go in. Don't forget to connect with this guy, Gene Petrino. Okay. And I think you're already connected with my sis, Susanna. Michelle Lax also wants to help you out in any way she can. So don't forget her. And then, of course, my brother, Willie J. We need his help as well to spread awareness. So that's your homework, Evan. You got a lot connecting to do.
Well, I said I got a lot of messages to send after this, and I can just put the link in the comments. You said
Yes.
I'll put the
Put
link
it
in the
on the
comments.
comment section of this live, and then we will go from there. Thank you so much for your time today. Wait for me at the backstage, and I'll be right there. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Hopefully, you guys had a wonderful time. I apologize. I keep muting myself because I'm coughing like crazy. You can't tell I'm sick because my makeup is on fleek, according to my sis Raquel. Um, I try. This is like a 10-minute makeup. Like, I think it's an even shadow, but whatever. One of these days, I'm going to do a live makeup so you can see my face without makeup. Just don't be scared. I might do that. Part of education is showing up with a face. So, thank you guys so much for being here today. I appreciate you so much. And we will see you tomorrow on my first live TV show. I'll be on Roku, Amazon Fire, obviously YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and the TV network. Okay? Bye, everybody. Have a fantastic and wonderful week and happy Wednesday.
Thanks for watching another episode of Level Up Academy today, brought to you by your none other host, Dr. Leland. Please do not forget to hit subscribe or push that notification bell. So anything that we have an activity on at Level Up Academy, you will be the first one to know. If you would like to be a guest in our podcast, both on the MP3, audio only, and also here on live in our YouTube channel, please let me know. DM me. Let's connect. Have a fantabulous day.